Lesson 5. Miracles around the lake. Memory text. However, Jesus did not permit him, but said to him, "Go home to your friends and tell them what great things the Lord has done for you, and how he has had compassion on you." Mark chapter 5 verse 19. Jesus spent most of his time ministering in Galilee, particularly in the region surrounding the Sea of Galilee, a body of water that is about 13 miles long and 8 miles wide. This lake is the largest in the area and was a central part of the lives of the people who lived nearby. This week, we will focus on the water-based miracles in Mark 4 and 6, where Jesus calms a storm. These events are accompanied by other miracles on land and the disciples' first missionary efforts. These powerful stories all show us who Jesus is. He can calm storms, drive out demons, heal a woman by a touch of his clothes, bring a dead girl back to life, preach in his hometown, and send his disciples to spread his message. Jesus feeds thousands with just a few loaves and fish, and even walks on water. These incredible displays of power are helping the disciples realize that he is the Son of God.
Calming a storm. In Mark chapter 4 verses 35 to 41, we find the story of Jesus calming the storm. Here are some lessons we can derive about who Jesus is. The most immediate and striking lesson is Jesus' authority over the natural world. His ability to command the wind and the waves and have them obey highlights his divine power. The disciples' reaction underscores a recognition of Jesus' divine nature. Their awe and question, "Who is this?" suggests that they are grappling with the reality that Jesus is more than just a teacher or prophet. Jesus is present and calm amidst the storm, showing his mastery over chaos and danger. His ability to sleep during the storm indicates his complete trust in God's sovereignty. Jesus challenges his disciples on their fear and lack of faith. This implies that faith in Jesus should transcend fear, even in seemingly perilous situations. Trusting in Jesus means believing in his power and care, even when circumstances are dire. Despite the disciples' doubt and fear, Jesus responds to their plea for help. This demonstrates his compassion and willingness to intervene on their behalf. Psalm chapter 104 verses 1 to 9 praises Yahweh for his majesty and power over creation, highlighting his control over the elements. In contrast, Jesus in Mark 4 also demonstrates authority over nature by calming the storm with a simple command. Yahweh's control over the wind and waters is mirrored in Jesus' ability to command the natural world, showcasing his divine nature. Yahweh's establishment of boundaries for the waters is paralleled by Jesus' rebuke of the storm, bringing peace and order. Both instances reveal the awe-inspiring power and protective presence of Yahweh and Jesus. Think about the power of God and how you can learn to lean on this power at all times in your life.
Can you hear a whisper above a shout? Mark chapter 5 verses 1 to 20 recounts the story of Jesus healing a man possessed by a legion of demons in the region of the Gerasenes. A man possessed by many demons lives among the tombs, displaying superhuman strength and uncontrollable behavior. The demons recognize Jesus as the Son of God and beg him not to torment them. Jesus commands the demons to leave the man. They request to enter a herd of pigs, which then rush into the sea and drown. The formerly possessed man is found calm and in his right mind, astonishing the townspeople. Frightened, The people ask Jesus to leave their region. The healed man asks to follow Jesus, but Jesus instructs him to tell his family and friends about the mercy he has received. Can we see the great controversy in this story? The demons immediately recognize Jesus' divine authority, demonstrating that evil is aware of and subordinate to the power of good. The possessed man's terrible condition illustrates the destructive impact of evil on individuals. The demons' plea to avoid torment before the appointed time shows their awareness of their ultimate defeat and judgment. Despite witnessing a miracle, the townspeople's fear and request for Jesus to leave highlight human resistance to the transformative power of good. This account vividly illustrates the ongoing battle between good and evil, highlighting the destructive nature of evil and the ultimate authority and transformative power of Jesus. Jesus' ability to command the demons to leave the man demonstrates his supreme authority over evil forces. The drastic transformation of the possessed man from a state of torment to peace and clarity showcases Jesus' power to restore and heal. Jesus' willingness to heal the man reflects his compassion and mercy, even towards those considered outcasts or beyond help. By instructing the healed man to share his story, Jesus emphasizes the importance of personal testimony in spreading the message of his power and mercy. This story reassures believers of Jesus' power to overcome any form of evil and emphasizes the importance of sharing one's personal experience of his mercy and grace.
On the roller coaster with Jesus. Mark chapter 5 verses 21 to 24 recounts the story of Jairus, a synagogue leader who approaches Jesus for help because his daughter is dying. Jairus' interaction with Jesus is characterized by a strong sense of urgency and desperation as his daughter's life hangs in the balance. Despite the potential backlash from his religious community, Jairus displays unwavering faith in Jesus' healing abilities publicly. Jairus' actions are fueled by his deep love and concern for his daughter, showcasing his unwavering dedication as a father. By humbly pleading for Jesus' help and bowing down before him, Jairus shows respect and submission to Jesus' authority. The progress toward Jairus' house is interrupted by an encounter with a woman who has been suffering from a bleeding condition for 12 years. Her condition has caused her much suffering, and she has spent all she had on doctors without any improvement, only getting worse. Believing that she could be healed if she just touches Jesus' clothes, she approaches him in the crowd and touches his cloak. Immediately, her bleeding stops, and she feels in her body that she is freed from her suffering. Jesus immediately feels that power has gone out from him and turns around in the crowd to ask who touched his clothes. The disciples are puzzled by his question, since the crowd is pressing against him from all sides. The woman, knowing what had happened to her, comes forward with fear and trembling. She falls at Jesus' feet and tells him the whole truth about her condition and her faith-driven action. The story returns to Jairus, who must have experienced a roller coaster of emotions. Jesus permitted only Peter, James, and John to accompany him and the parents. Jesus declared that the girl was not deceased, but merely sleeping. He dismissed the mourners and entered the room where the deceased girl was lying. Grasping her hand, he uttered, "Talitha cum." Mark interpreted these words as, "Little girl, get up," In reality, the term Talitha means lamb and is a form of endearment for a child in the household. Mark chapter 5 verse 4. He gave strict orders not to let anyone know about this, and told them to give her something to eat. Once again, Jesus asks for secrecy, but knowing that soon he must be completely revealed.
Rejection and reception. Mark chapter 6 verses 1 to 6 describes Jesus returning to his hometown, Nazareth, and teaching in the synagogue. The people there rejected him for several reasons. The people knew Jesus as a carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon. They were familiar with his family and background, which made it difficult for them to accept his new role as a teacher and miracle worker. They questioned where Jesus acquired his wisdom and power, expressing doubt about his authority and the source of his teachings and miracles. The people took offense at Jesus, possibly because they felt that someone they knew so well could not be the Messiah or a prophet. This offense could stem from envy, pride, or simply disbelief that someone from their own community could be so extraordinary. Jesus remarked on their lack of faith, which is highlighted by the fact that he could not perform many miracles there. Their disbelief and skepticism hindered the manifestation of his works. Mark chapter 6 verses 7 to 30 contains two contrasting narratives: the mission of the 12 apostles and the beheading of John the Baptist. The 12 apostles continued Jesus' work by preaching repentance, driving out demons, and healing the sick. In contrast, John the Baptist was martyred for speaking out against King Herod's immoral actions with Herodias, his brother's wife. Jesus gave the apostles authority over unclean spirits and the power to heal, while John faced persecution and death for his righteousness. The apostles relied on God's provision during their mission, while Herod's fear and manipulation led to John's execution. These stories show the reactions to God's messengers and the different outcomes they faced, highlighting faith and the cost of standing up for truth.
A different kind of Messiah. In Mark chapter 6 verses 34 to 52, Jesus and his disciples face a series of interconnected problems, each showcasing different aspects of Jesus' compassion, provision, and power. Jesus and his disciples encounter a large crowd of over 5,000 people who have gathered to listen to him. The crowd is in a remote place, and as the day grows late, they have nothing to eat. Jesus instructs his disciples to feed the crowd. The disciples can only find a boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. Jesus performs a miracle. He takes the loaves and fish, blesses them, and distributes them to the people. All the people eat and are satisfied, and 12 baskets of leftovers are collected. After such a miracle, many might have thought, if Jesus was the Messiah, maybe he would lead this large group in revolt against Rome. Instead, Jesus sends the disciples away on a boat, and he retreats to a mountain to pray. Perhaps among the people there was disappointment and doubt. The disciples were probably perplexed as well. Later, the disciples encounter a strong wind while rowing across the lake, making their journey difficult and causing them to struggle. Jesus approaches the disciples, walking on the water. They are initially terrified, thinking he is a ghost. Jesus reassures them by speaking to them and identifying himself, saying, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." He then climbs into the boat with them, and the wind dies down. The disciples are amazed by this demonstration of Jesus' power. Instead of the commonly held belief that the Messiah is a king who frees Israel, he actually comes to free people from the chains of sin. His ability to walk on water demonstrates to the disciples that he is the ultimate authority over nature. However, his purpose is not to reign as a ruler, but to sacrifice his life as a ransom for many. Mark chapter 10 verse 45, "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many."
Thank you for studying with us. We hope you give this video a like and please subscribe. And always keep the faith of Jesus.